I'm 16 female and have an older brother who is the owner of the house we live in. He is my half-brother, same mums. I live with my dad, stepmom and stepsister, 17, in the house. My brother let my dad and I stay in this house because we were evicted from the previous place, as my dad had lost his job and couldn't pay rent. It's a 3-bedroom house, so currently my stepsister and I have our own room, and I have the bigger room with my own bathroom. She doesn't have her own bathroom. My stepsister is 6 months pregnant. When she was 3 months pregnant, my dad and stepmom told me that once the baby is born, her boyfriend is going to move in with us and they will need 2 rooms. One of them for them and one for the baby. So they offered to clear out the shed we have outside for my stuff, and I can sleep on the couch at nights. I'm not happy about this. I talked to my brother and he agreed this is unreasonable. So I asked him if he could just evict my parents so I don't have to deal with my stepmom and stepsister anymore. My brother suggested that I move in with him so that I won't live there when they are served the eviction notice, as he was worried that they would blame me, and it wouldn't be nice if I was living there. So just about a week ago, my stepsister's boyfriend moved in as well. I have now moved in with my brother and they have been served the eviction notice, which is 2 months. My dad, stepmom, and stepsister have been calling me non-stop, asking me to convince my brother to reconsider and calling me heartless. My stepsister texted me saying I'm the biggest a-hole she's ever met because I'm making her homeless at the peak of her pregnancy, and it's her baby that I'm punishing. Am I an a-hole? Not the a-hole. The family is taking advantage of your brother and keeps moving more people into the house he owns. I am assuming nobody pays rent. It is your brother's right to evict them. Maybe your stepsister should take responsibility for herself and her unborn baby. I can't believe these people wanted to put you in a shed. Not the a-hole. They don't need a separate room for the child. They need to all sleep together in one room, so when the baby cries, they can definitely hear the crying and can tend to the baby's needs. It's your brother's home. I'm not sure why they thought this would fly when you're likely the only reason he let them stay there anyway. Not the a-hole. Your brother is no relation to your dad or stepmother, so the only reason he even let you guys live there was for you. If they aren't letting you live in the house, he has no reason to let them stay and could be making a lot more money with other tenants. So it's actually to his benefit to evict them. They made choices that were bad parenting, and now they're paying for them. Their choices, their problem, not yours, ever. My sister and her wife were trying to make a baby in the same span of time that my husband and I were, and we are both pregnant now, and about a week and a half apart in our due dates. She's expecting twins, boy and girl. I'm expecting a little boy. We all live together, so there has definitely been some tension between her and I in regards to our baby showers. We realized we had each planned ours the same day, and she told me I could take the Saturday and she'd take the Sunday, since we had family coming from out of town, and that way it'd be easier. However, our baby showers were last weekend, and she blatantly one-upped me in every way. She hired herself and I a DJ, but had the way more elaborate decorations and expensive food for hers. She completely transformed our backyard, and our friends and family ranted and raved. She had beautiful cheese platters and little finger foods. I couldn't afford much, so mine was a pretty run-of-the-mill baby shower, but she knew that. Seeing everyone speak so highly of her shower was infuriating. They also gave her way more gifts than myself. I posted on my Facebook, "Pretty sad when you feel the need to one-up family just because you're having one more baby than me." She came to me in my room and told me that, first of all, she didn't have to get me a DJ, but she did. And it's not her problem that I can't afford more lavish things, and that she's having one more baby, so her getting more gifts isn't a jab at me, just a logical fact of having twins versus one kid. I told her that she didn't need to get such extravagant things, knowing it'd make my shower pale in comparison, and she told me to duck off and walked away. My sister sent me a long text when she was at work saying to give them space and that I'm acting like a brat. My husband agrees that she blatantly wanted to make me look bad, since we had our showers a day apart, and it was clear by how much money she put into it. I think that if you're going to have a shower the day after your family, you shouldn't try to do everything in your power to have a better one. Also, I think it's crappy for family to spend more money on her than myself, twins or not. Am I the a-hole here? Yes, the a-hole. She wasn't trying to have a better shower than yours. She was trying to have the shower she wanted. If you think your shower was worse in comparison, that is your problem and your problem alone. Your family wasn't spending more on her. They were spending money on the babies. Your mentality is completely out of whack here. If she was actually intentionally one-upping you, there would have been clear evidence of that, other than her shower was nicer than mine. It's not about you. I repeat, her baby shower was not about you. You're acting like a brat. The sister-in-law was even nice enough to pay for a DJ for OP's baby shower, so obviously, it's not like she was trying to make her feel bad. OP must be really petty to have to create drama out of a baby shower. It's also extremely toxic to be posting about these things on Facebook for everyone to see. Maybe the sister-in-law also got more presents because she's just nicer. The sister-in-law was a saint who threw a beautiful baby shower, paid for a DJ for 2 days, and handled the drama face-to-face instead of replying to OP's Facebook post online and letting everyone see their conversation. I want to be the sister-in-law's friend because she sounds like a lovely person. Edit. Yes, the a-hole. Not everyone is trying to ruin your life just because they want to have a nice baby shower. I am not here for legal advice, but more to see if people would consider me an a-hole. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son with my ex. We broke up, never married, a couple of years ago. Then he moved 11 hours to be with his girlfriend, now wife, and custody became complicated. I am the primary parent of the kids. Because he was the one who moved, he is the one who pays for their travel expenses when flying them out. He also pays me child support. He forfeited Christmas with the kids every other year because I wouldn't buy the other kids in his household gifts. I was going to celebrate Christmas with them while here and do gifts for me in my home. So he took Thanksgiving, which the courts agreed to because they wanted the kids to have more time with him. But he has been extra pissed since learning at one of our court appearances, where he tried to stop paying child support, that I have never spent a single penny of child support since he was ordered to pay. It all goes into savings for the kids. So he thinks I should fly the kids out for his stepkid's birthday during the year. This has been a debate between us for the last 2 years, and he became more forceful after his wife gave birth to their first child together. I have told him I am happy for our kids to fly out if he pays, and I am happy to accommodate him seeing them more if he wants to fly them out. He does not. He has called me an a-hole before. My kids are always on my mind, and I don't want to stop the security we have with how I budget and manage our finances. I'm so proud I can save for their futures, and I try to cultivate the relationship by encouraging them to enjoy time with their dad's family. They're not so happy about his household, and I try to be supportive since nothing is wrong. They just don't like the idea of having a stepfamily. But I don't feel like that needs to include me spending money on his stepkids and new child, or spending money to fly the kids out when the courts say it's his responsibility, and I'm not the parent who created the distance. But I don't know if I'm being an a-hole or not by not doing more. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your ex is just trying to find more creative ways to stiff you. You don't owe him or his other kids gifts. And if he doesn't want to pay for plane flights, then he is effectively giving up his parental rights for visitation. It's not your job to pay for his convenience. Not the a-hole. Your child support is for the benefit of your children. If you choose to pay all of their expenses out of your pocket and save or invest the child support money for your children's benefit, that's your right, and your kids will definitely benefit from it. You have no moral obligation to pay for your kids to travel to visit their father in excess of what is called out on the court documents. If he wants the kids to visit for siblings' birthdays, and that works out with your schedule, then he can pay the cost. And no, you should not buy gifts for step-siblings or half-siblings. Your ex sounds selfish and manipulative. Don't let him convince you that you're wrong or bad. I, 19 female, have a complicated relationship with my dad. For the first 8 years of my life, he was a good dad. He was the kind of dad people always praise. He was active and loving, but also not afraid to discipline and always provided. Then my mom died and he fell apart. 3 months after she died, he got another woman pregnant and he wasn't in my half-brother's life. He apparently regretted his actions and wanted to be more dedicated to me, who needed him. But in reality, he ended up spending some time single but drinking, and then he ended up with his wife, Alice. When my dad met Alice, she had 5 kids. 2 were girls close to my age, 2 were boys, and another younger girl. They moved in together after 12 weeks, and since we had a 3-bedroom house at the time, all the girls shared, the boys shared, and then they had their own room. Because I was the non-sibling, I had a hard time adjusting and actually had a big fight with my dad, who called me a brat for not being more accepting. Then they had a baby together, and we had another girl in our room after 20 months of living together. And then my dad had an affair with the mother of my half-brother, and he was in our lives for a short time before he wasn't again. And then Alice had an affair, and she had another baby, and my dad said he deserved her cheating because he cheated first. He treats that baby weirdly. He doesn't treat that child the same as, say, me or my half-sister, but he didn't treat him any different than his other stepkids. It got to Alice after she and my dad had another baby together, and then there were 7 girls in one bedroom, 3 boys in the other, and it was not a good living situation. I think the assumption was, as the kinda oldest and the one who had experience with little cousins, that I would step up and be more of a presence in the younger kids' lives. Alice put it on me to bond with her son from the affair, because she realized my dad was not treating him the way he treated my youngest half-sister. They fought a lot about it, and I just wanted to leave. And finally last year I could. I moved out and in with my grandparents to finish high school, and I didn't go back. Around that time, my dad tried to reconnect with my half-brother, but his mom made it clear he'll never have anything to do with any of us. So my dad reached out to me after no contact for more than a year to ask me to join the family and help out. I told him I didn't want to get sucked back into his messed up family. Do you think I was too harsh? Do you think I should have said no and left it there? I don't know. That was my gut reaction to say because it's how I always felt. Although I would not say I felt like they were my family back then, and I'm still not sure because we don't exactly love or like each other, and we're definitely not there for each other. It was just a toxic mess. Not the a-hole. Your dad does know they figured out what causes pregnancy, right? Your dad is trying to emotionally manipulate you into dealing with the situation he created for himself. Don't do it. Not the a-hole. Is he looking to you to do childcare, etc.? I think so. They used to leave me home with the kids a lot, so they probably miss it. Because as much as I don't want any part of it, I would never walk out and leave little kids and babies home without anyone. Not the a-hole. And it doesn't sound like he wants you back for you, but rather for the babysitting you provided. Not to mention, you papered over the cracks in the family by being the go-to for the kids they had in adulterous affairs. If I were you, I would stick to my boundaries and refuse to move back. What they were doing to you is called parentification, and it is borderline aggressive at best. I'm recently retired, and my husband passed away 10 years ago. Finances-wise, I do enough to keep myself happy, but I don't have a ton of money or assets at all. Anyways, I have 2 older sons who are now in their 30s who got married 3 to 5 years ago. They both married women from fairly wealthy families, so their weddings were all very extravagant, in the $70 to $90K range. Imagine 250 people weddings in the center of a big city. Now, my youngest is 26 and getting married next year. Her fiancé is still in graduate school, and his parents are just middle class. They said they can't contribute because they're in quite a lot of debt as well. I can't contribute anything beyond a few $1,000s. A few nights ago, my daughter called me crying. She said she's upset thinking about how little they have to pay for this wedding, and it's worse knowing her brothers had these amazing events, and she'll only have a dinky backyard thing. She said her dream was to have the kind of grand wedding her brothers had, but she would walk the aisle this time. She asked me if I thought she was a failure in life, and it just broke my heart. So yesterday I called my sons and asked them to consider paying the bulk of their sister's wedding, so she can have a beautiful one like they did. Immediately they start giving excuses, so I got mad and told them this isn't how they treat family, and to think of their baby sister and the wedding she should deserve. Am I the a-hole for asking? They are both doing very well in life and lucked out in not having to pay for their own weddings. I felt like it would be more than reasonable to chip in for their baby sister's wedding, who does not have the same privileges as them, but still deserves the same as them. Yes, the a-hole. Your sons aren't responsible for footing the bill for their sister's wedding, and to ask them to is inappropriate and, well, tacky as duck. Your daughter needs to stop being selfish and acting as though she's entitled to a huge wedding just because her brothers had one. Yes, the a-hole. Nobody deserves a fancy wedding. They either have the money and desire for one or they don't. Your sons married women who had the money, and that's the wedding they had. Your daughter is marrying someone who doesn't, so she can have a nice low-key wedding to start saving. It's absurd to expect your sons to feel any sense of responsibility for this whatsoever. Let me guess, their excuses were things like, I have a family and bills and savings goals of my own that don't include a lavish wedding for my sister.